네, 줌에 계신 분들 다 비디오 켜주시겠어요? 다 켜주시겠어요? 네, 안녕하세요. 2021 UCLG 글로벌 청년 창의 레지던시 온라인 성과 공유에 참석해 주신 여러분 반갑습니다. 저는 이번 행사를 담당하고
in
있는
which
제주
we are conducting online. My name is Park Hee-jung, and I am in charge of this event at the Jeju Foundation for Arts and Culture. The UCLG GYCR builds on 2017, where at the second UCLG International Cultural Summit, the need for a youth cultural program was recognized. As such, the UCLG Global Youth Creatives Residency was initiated through a partnership between Jeju JDC and UCLG and is now this year, as of 2021, in its third rendition. Today at the final presentation, what we will be doing is we'll be going over the results and creative work and outcomes of the participants over the past 5 days from August 2nd to August 6th. The event will be divided into two parts and will be about 3 hours. In session one, you'll be hearing some opening remarks and comments from the steering committee and the heads of the organizing committees and the committee on culture at UCLG as well. And in session two, you'll be hearing from presentations from each teams and getting feedback from the mentors. And you will also have an extra video clip as well. And without further ado, we'll be listening to congratulatory remarks from Director.
반갑습니다. 안녕하십니까? 반갑습니다. 문대림입니다. JDC 이사장 문대림입니다. 오늘 제주문화예술재단 이승택 이사장님을 비롯한 관계자분들을 모시고 지역 청년들이 글로벌 문화예술 역량 강화를 위한 UCLG 글로벌 청년창의 레지던시 성과 공유회를 개최하게 됨을 매우 뜻깊게 생각합니다. 문화가 개인과 사회의 행복을 넘어 경제 성장과 국가 발전의 새로운 동력이 되는 변화의 한가운데 우리는 서 있습니다. 4차 산업혁명과 코로나 이후의 급변 속에서 제주문화예술진흥 및 확산을 이끄는 막중한 시대적 임무를 여러분과 함께하게 되었습니다. 2021 UCLG 글로벌 청년 창의 레지던시를 통해 미래가치인 제주 청년 예술인들에게 예술가의 창작의 기회를 제공하고 문화향유의 접촉면을 확대하고자 했습니다. 아무쪼록 오늘 성과 공유회가 제주 기반 문화예술의 건실한 성장과 자립을 돕고 온오프라인 교류 방식을 통해 팬데믹 시대 새로운 국제교류의 정책 방향성 제시를 통해 지역 기반의 문화예술이 꽃피우는 토대가 마련되기를 기대해 봅니다. 위드 코로나 시대 참석하신 모든 분들의 건강을 기원드립니다. 감사합니다.
I think your mic is off now. I think you need to unmute.
짧게 하겠습니다. UCLG
Okay, I'll keep things short. Thank you so much to the participants of the Jeju UCLG GYCR. Thank you for your hard work, and also thank you to the staff members for all you've done day in and day out. We've created an isolated environment in Jeju Island to create a platform for looking into the present and also the future as well. In the same environment of Jeju, youths from all across the world have come together and really created outcomes based on their own independent and unique ideas. I look forward to all of your work and welcome everyone once again, and thank you for participating.
네, 이승택 이사장님 인사 말씀 감사합니다.
Thank you for your remarks.
이번에는 고립 레지던시를 진행했던 각 지역
Next up, we're going to be listening to congratulatory remarks in a video form that the leaders of each community have sent to us.
저는
진영환입니다. 처음에는 우리 친구들이 뭘 하러 왔는가 했는데 뜨거운 여름에 마스크 끼고 활동하는 걸 봐가지고 저는 참 고맙다고 생각했습니다. 예, 젊은이들이 많이 모여서 자꾸 이런 행사를 하여 주었으면 좋겠습니다. 저희 마을은 젊은 사람들이 없기 때문에 우리 청년들이 와서 하는 거를 참 대단히 고맙게 생각했고 또 상당히 난 보람 있다고 생각하고 있습니다. 아무쪼록 앞으로 종종 틈이 나는 대로 저희 갓바들을 찾아주셔서 좋은 행사도 하시고 좋은 추억을 만들어 갔으면 좋겠습니다. 대단히 감사합니다.
예, 안녕하십니까. 비양도 이장 윤상민입니다. 지난번 비양도 UCLG 행사가 무사히 마쳐서 저 역시 아주 다행스럽게 생각을 하고 있습니다. 우리 비양도가 이 UCLC 이런 사업은 처음인데요. 이번에 제가 같이 생활을 하면서 느껴보니까 이제 비양도의 청정 환경 도시를 제대로 만끽을 하고 또 마을 주민들과의 같은 생활, 또 비양도의 어떤 체험과 문화를 잘 익히고 가서 저도 참 다행스럽게 생각을 하고 있습니다. 앞으로도 비양도가 지금 제주도 5개섬 중에 저는 청정구역의 섬이라고 자부를 하고 있습니다. 이제 다음 기회가 되면 더 새로운 체험과 또 UCLC에 관련된 모든 분야의 분들이 비양도에서 교육과 참여 또 온라인으로 서로가 교류할 수 있는 이런 사업의 장으로 이어져 나갔으면 하는 바람입니다. 아무쪼록 이번 행사가 진짜 마을 주민과 함께 그리고 모든 행사자들의 안전 사고 없이 끝난 것에 대해서 다행스럽게 생각하고요. 앞으로도 저희 마을은 이 UCLG 사업과 같이 더불어 가면서 좋은 사업을 발전할 수 있도록 함께하도록 노력을 하겠습니다. 예, 감사합니다.
안녕하십니까. 저는 가시기장 정윤수입니다. UCLG 청년창의 레지던시 행사에 참가했던 모든 분들 여기 와서 좋은 결과가 있었다고 해서 무척 이장으로서 자랑스럽게 생각하고 또 여러분들한테 최대한 또 지원을 해드리려고 했는데 여러분은 어떠셨는지 모르겠습니다. 어쨌든 나중에라도 다시 또 기회가 돼서 저희 마을을 찾아주시면 그 전보다 또 더 열심히 해서 여러분들이 행사에 좋은 성과를 낼 수 있도록 열심히 도와드리겠습니다. 대단히 감사합니다.
네, 다음은 고립 레지던시 운영진 소개가 있겠습니다. 이번 행사의 총괄 기획을 담당하신 정은혜 총괄 디렉터님 나와 계십니다. 안녕하세요. 그리고 코로나 상황으로 인해 부득이하게 온라인으로 참석해 주시고 계신 멘토님들 한 분 한 분 제가 이름 말씀드릴 테니까 손 한번 흔들어 주시기 바랍니다. 이혜영 멘토님, 네, 이진웅 멘토님, 윤희방 멘토님, 베른트 할프헤르 멘토님, 네, 감사합니다. 다음은 UCLG 문화분과위원회에서 문화의 지속가능한 발전과 UN 아젠다 2030의 문화 연관성에 대해서 강연 2개가 준비되어 있습니다. 첫 번째 강연으로 UCLG 문화분과위원회 코디네이터신 조르디 파스칼의 Why Culture Deserves to be the First Pillar of Sustainable Development라는 주제로 강연을 해주시겠습니다.
Hello, how are you? I am Jordi Pascual. I am talking from Barcelona, the city that hosts the global headquarters of United Cities and Local Governments, the World Organization of Cities. I really regret not being able to be with you in Jeju today. We have been several times to Jeju In 2017, we organized a wonderful UCLG Culture Summit, the second UCLG Culture Summit in May 2017. With the initiative, under the initiative of the Jeju Self-Governing Government, we organized in 2018 and 2019 the Global Youth Culture Forum, which in the new edition in 2021 with the new name, the Global Young Creative Residency, is a wonderful initiative. We are delighted to have worked with the Jeju Foundation for Arts and Culture and with the government itself to make it possible. Congratulations to the General Director, Yoon Jung, to the person in charge of the project in the JFAC, Hee-jung Park, and also with the people in the government of Jeju that we have been working closely, Soo-hee Kang and Chang-ya. In Jeju 2017, one of the initiatives that we shared with our members, cities and local governments all around the world, is our narrative, a narrative that we have been supporting in the last years. I will share the screen. I will show to you this narrative. This is the triangle of sustainable development to your left, and to your right, the square that we suggest as the alternative. Culture, the fourth pillar, sustainable development, the fourth dimension, the fourth sphere. Why do we support this narrative? Because we believe that the triangle does not explain reality anymore. It does not explain how a human being is. It does not explain the present and the future of our territories, cities, provinces, nations, and it does not explain the whole earth as a system. Let me begin when we place the human being at the center of the triangle. We are not just machines of production or entities that care for our relation with others or that are aware of our relation with the environment. Not only, of course, these three dimensions are important, but it is also that we have our own dreams, our own path of development that is made of trust, is made of risk, is made of difficulties, is made of happiness, is made of great moments of doubt and great moments of progress. In fact, when we add culture as a dimension in this sustainable development paradigm, what we do is we merge the human development and the sustainable development paradigms. They are not yet fully integrated in the United Nations agendas for development. So we believe that when we place the human being at the center, we need this fourth dimension, this fourth pillar. It is also clear that when we have a city, a province, a nation, a territory, a government that is caring for the progress, for the future of these places at the center of the paradigm, it is also obvious for us that we need culture. Culture as a concept that condenses the analysis of the past and our imagination of the future, the creativity of people living in that place. And here the work of artists is of paramount importance, and also diversity, the diversity of people living on a place and awareness of the diversity around the world. We believe that these three concepts, heritage, memories, creativity, diversity, can be condensed in the word culture, in the policies that need to be explicit, need to be addressing these issues, and they need to be operational. There should be resources, available for the
또한
progress of
자원이
these
이러한
policies.
정책의
There should
발전에
be
투입되어야 하고
meeting places, there should be
관련된
discussions,
회의나
these policies
논의가
should be
진행되어야 합니다.
transparent, and they should
이러한
be
정책은
aiming at
투명해야
benefiting
하고 각
all
장소의
citizens, all
모든
inhabitants
시민과
in a
모든
place.
주민들의
But the
혜택이
triangle does not
제공되는 데에
work
집중되어야 합니다.
either if we
하지만
place our Mother
삼각형은
Earth
제대로
at the center.
작동할 수
If we place
없습니다.
our
우리의
planet
어머니인
at the
지구를
center
중심에
and we
놓으면
forget
우리의
about
행성을 중심에
the
놓고
diversity of cultures
지구에
existing on Earth,
존재하는 문화의
we have very
다양성은
incomplete
잊어버린다면
picture of
이
how
행성이
the Earth
작동하는 방식에
operates.
대한
Today,
매우
we
불완전한
need more
그림이
than
될
ever
것입니다. 현재
to be
그
aware
어느
of
때보다도 더
the imagination,
우리는
of
전
the
세계
solutions,
모든 사람들의
of the
상상과
dreams of
그들이 가진
people
꿈을
living
실현해줄
all over
방법을
the world.
인식해야 합니다.
We today in one place, we
오늘날의
are
우리는
in the need to learn from the others, and
타인으로부터
our
그리고 다른
very rich
장소로부터
planet,
배워야 합니다.
the result of the
그리고 지구의
interaction between human
풍요로움은
beings,
사람들 간의
other beings,
사람과 다른
and
존재의
nature
그리고
is the
사람과
result
자연 간의
of a
상호작용의
great interaction
결과입니다.
that we need to care for,
이러한
and we
위대한
need that this
상호작용에
interaction
우리는
continues to be
관심을 가져야
diverse,
합니다. 이
with full
상호작용은
respect
계속해서
to the
다양해하고 다른
progress
사람들의
of other
발전을
peoples,
전적으로 존중하는
with the
방식으로
protection of cultural diversity
그리고
and
문화의
with the promotion,
다양성을
the active
보호하는
promotion
방식으로
of
이루어져야
cultural
합니다.
diversity. So this is why, for these three reasons, because the triangle does not
문화의
work
다양성은
when we
적극적으로
place the
강화되어야 합니다.
human
이러한
being,
이유로
when we place a
삼각형 그
territory, when we
중심에
place
인간을
the
두었을
whole
때 그
planet
중심에
at the
지구를
center. This is
두었을
why
때 제대로
we
작동할
support
수
the vision
없습니다.
of culture
그렇기
as the
때문에
fourth
저희는 문화라는
dimension,
도전을
pillar,
지속
sphere
가능한
of
개발의 네
sustainable
번째
development.
요소,
We
네
invite
번째
you
측면으로 지지하는
today, in the
것입니다.
next days,
여러분께서
the
향후
next
몇
months,
개월간
the
또
next
향후 몇
years,
년간
to think about it,
이
to
패러다임이
think if this paradigm is
여러분의 작품에
something that
의미 있는
is
것일지
meaningful
한번
for your work,
생각해 보시기를
and
바라고
it makes sense for us to carry on
이러한 옹호
this
활동이
advocacy. We are not
지속될
alone.
만한 것인지 한번
United
생각해
Cities and
보시기
local
바랍니다.
governments is
우리는
promoting this
혼자가
narrative.
아닙니다.
In the last
UCLG는 이러한
years,
내러티브를 지난 몇
we have
년간
had
지속적으로
some success
홍보해왔고
in
그
this
과정에서 어느 정도의
endeavor.
성과를
And
거두었습니다.
here I change
여기서 다음
to the next
슬라이드로 넘어가
slide.
보면
This is something that
보시는 것은
we, United Cities and local governments,
UCLG가
promoted in September last
작년
year. The
9월에 홍보한
report,
것입니다.
UN
이
75,
보고서의
Visioning
제목은
Report
UN
UN 75, that imagines how the future global governance
UN 75
system
비전은
should look like
리포트입니다.
in the year
이 보고서는 미래의
2045.
세계 정부
And what we say
체제가 어떠한
is that
모습일지를
in
2045년을
2045,
기준으로
culture
전망하고
will
있습니다.
have been recognized
보고서에
by the
따르면
international community
2045년경에는
as the fourth
문화는
dimension of
국제
sustainable
커뮤니티에 의해
development
지속 가능한
on equal
개발의 네
basis to
번째
the economic,
요소로서
social,
경제,
and
사회,
environmental
환경과 대등한
pillars. And
위치를
in
정하게
order
될
to achieve
것입니다.
this recognition,
이렇게
we
인정을
believe
받기 위해서는
it is crucial
반드시
that the post-2030 development
2030년
agenda
이후의
includes a
개발 의제의
standalone
문화가
goal
독립된
on
하나의
culture,
목표로 포함되어야 한다고
one that
생각합니다.
includes targets
이
related
목표에는
to
세부
memory, heritage,
목표로서
creativity,
기억, 유산,
diversity,
창의성,
and
다양성,
knowledge.
지식 등이 다루어져야 합니다.
This is what we believe. This is our narrative,
이것이 저희의
and
신념이자
we are
저희의
extremely happy
내러티브입니다.
to be
이에 대해
challenged
어떠한 도전이
because it is
다가와도
the only way
그것은
we can
저희가
grow,
성장할
the only
수
way
있는 계기가
we
될
can
것이기 때문에
be
기쁘게 받아들일
stronger,
수 있습니다.
the only way
저희가
this
강해지는
debate
계기가 될
of bringing
것이고
culture more at the
문화를
center
개발의
of
중심에 더
development
가까이 가져다 줄 계기가 될
can be
것입니다.
can reach more people,
이
more
믿음이 더
powers,
많은 사람들,
more
권력들, 그리고
organizations,
조직들에
and
도달하고
hopefully in the
미래에는
future
글로벌
adopted
커뮤니티 전체에
as
의해
something
수용되기를
that
바랍니다.
belongs to the whole international community. I will leave it here.
그럼 이쯤에서
Again,
마무리하겠습니다.
congratulations to
다시 한번
all the work undertaken in
글로벌
this
청년 창의
program, the Global
레지던시
Young
프로그램의
Creatives
일환으로 진행된
Presidency,
모든
and
노력에
our
대해
promise
축하의
that
말씀을
as soon as
전하고
possible we
싶습니다.
will be able to
그리고
join
최대한
you
빨리 저희가 직접
directly,
제주를 방문할
physically,
것을
live
약속드립니다.
in Jeju. Stay well,
건강하시고
good work,
수고 많으셨습니다.
congratulations
훌륭한
for the
결과물을
achievements of
만들어내신
your
것을
work,
축하드리고
and see you
곧
soon.
뵙겠습니다.
Goodbye.
안녕히 계세요.
네, 조르디 파스칼의 강연 감사합니다.
For
두 번째
presentation,
강연으로는 UCLG
For the
문화분과위원회
second
말타
presentation, we will be
로벳의
inviting
The UN
Martha
Agenda
Lobert
2030
from
and the Main
UCLG
Goals and
Committee on
Targets
Culture
that are
to talk
related
about
to
the
culture 이라는
UN
주제로
Agenda
강연을
2030 and the main
들어보도록
goals and targets
하겠습니다.
that are related to culture.
Hello everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part again of the Global Young Creatives Residency in Jeju in this closing session. I'm sure that you have lived many exciting experiences these days and you have developed together outstanding creative projects to boost the role of arts and culture in sustainable development, which is most needed in the current difficult context. I've seen the videos that you have shared and on social media and they are amazing. I would like to congratulate you all in the first place for your talent, courage, engagement, and dedication. This brief lecture will be a sort of a second part of the one I shared with you all in the orientation session a few weeks ago. I hope that you all remember a bit the work that we do at the Culture Committee of United Cities and Local Governments, UCLG, one of the organizations that is behind this initiative. And I hope that you also remind the UN 2030 Agenda and the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, and the 169 targets. Today, we'll deepen the ways local and regional initiatives are making sustainable development a reality through concrete cultural programs and projects related to the targets that are more connected to culture. I would like to ask you how your work developed during the residency connects with these initiatives, and hopefully you may get inspired for your future endeavors. So, let's go. These are the targets that are related to the projects that we will explore now. The first one is target 11.4. I would like to illustrate this target with Jeju's project Nature, Culture and People. This target is on the mapping of heritage sites and elements of tangible and intangible cultural heritage that have or can have a role in sustainable local development. Well, with Jeju, the UCLG Culture Committee carried out a project to list and enhance the cultural and natural heritage assets of the island, as well as to relate them to the culture of the present. This list covers aspects ranging from traditional handicraft rituals, the Haenyeo women that you know very well for sure, the dry stone walls that are a UNESCO agricultural heritage site, and contemporary art festivals, among others. And target 4.7, related to this target, we can find a policy that ensures that educational programs at all levels, primary, secondary, and university, include topics related to cultural diversity, artistic education, languages, and the role of cultural aspects in sustainable development. Well, to illustrate this target, I've chosen Arena da Cultura from Belo Horizonte in Brazil, which was the winning program of the first edition of our international award, and is a very broad and ambitious artistic and cultural training program that helped to consolidate a whole policy of access, training, and empowerment of the citizens, which placed culture as a real cornerstone of sustainable development in the city. It was a huge advance. And target 5.1, related to this one, we can find a policy that allows to give visibility and recognition through appropriate research, dissemination, and celebratory activities to the stories and heritage of women throughout global history. Well, to illustrate this target, we have chosen WOW, a global festival that in 2016 and 2017 was organized in Karachi, Pakistan. This festival is promoted by the British Council and brought together women from around the world, leading professionals in cultural artists, activists, etc., to reflect with the audience on the obstacles that women face in accessing, participating, and contributing to cultural life. And related to target 10.3, we can find a policy that allows to require cultural institutions that receive public support to carry out programs that include
공공 지원을 받는
disadvantaged groups
문화
and conduct them
기관은
in neighborhoods with high
취약계층
levels
그리고
of
또
poverty
취약한
and exclusion.
거주지, 특히 빈곤과
Well, we
소외된
have inhabiting
주민들을 위한
community
프로젝트를
culture in
진행해야
Bogota related
된다라는
to this
것과
target.
관련된
And it is
프로젝트입니다.
being developed
여기선
in
저는
informal and marginal
보초가의
neighborhoods.
공동체
They are
문화,
being
inhabitant
regularized
community
and
culture
provided with
프로젝트를
services and
선택을
infrastructures,
해보았는데요.
with cultural ones.
비공식
And the most
주거지와 취약한
interesting
주거지 위주로
aspects of
개발이 되고
this
있는
project
프로젝트이고
is
주거지의
the creative
공식화와
effort to
함께
empower the people
문화적인
who live
서비스와
in
인프라를
these
제공하기 위해서
neighborhoods to
노력하는
take
프로젝트입니다.
ownership of the
주민들에게
public
공공,
space
공간에 대한
and
주인
also to
의식을
take part
고취하고
of the
또
community
주민들의
management
목소리에
of
힘을
cultural
실어주기
life.
위한 창의적인 노력이 참 인상적이었다고
Related to
생각합니다.
target 1.4, we can
다음은
find
세부
a
목표
policy that
1.4에
promotes
대해서
that cultural
말씀드리겠습니다.
services are basic services and equal
모든
access to
남성과
them should
여성,
be
특히
warranted for all men and
빈곤층과
women, including the poor and the poor.
취약계층이 경제적인 자원에 대한
Well,
동등한 권리와
the
더불어서
strategic plan of
기초 공공
Uclg
서비스에
in
대한
the Ivory Coast,
접근에 대한
it
동등한
was
권리를
designed
가질
to
것을
build
보장해야
the city's
된다라는 것과 관련이
cultural
있는
plan
프로젝트를 제가
strategy. And
선택을
this strategy
해보았습니다.
has succeeded in training and empowering young
영포군
people to boost a
전략
solid and
계획을
sustainable
위한
cultural sector and
프로젝트였습니다.
promoting
도시의 문화
economic
계획 전략을
growth
수립하기
and
위해서 진행이
urban
되었는데요.
renewal.
청년
So it
교육과
has really
그리고 권한 증진
made
이니셔티브를
a
통해서 지속
difference.
가능한 경제와 문화 성장을 촉진하는 데
Related to
크게
target
기여해왔습니다.
8.3,
다음은 세부
we
목표
can find a policy that
8.3입니다.
allows to explore the potential of the cultural and creative sectors to contribute to inclusive, sustainable,
여기서는
and fair employment.
포용적이고
The
지속 가능하고
project
그리고 공정한
Toga in Busan
일자리를
involved the
창출하기
revitalization
위한
of the
문화와
historic
그리고
center,
또 예술
where
부문의
abandoned
역할을
buildings are
강조하기
brought
위한
back to life
프로젝트를
through
선택을
culture. And
해보았습니다.
it is especially remarkable the
방치되었던
will
역사센터와
to
그리고 건물에
strengthen the
생기를
local cultural
불어넣고
capacity,
문화에 기여할
both
수 있도록
of
재건이
professional
되었습니다.
artists and also
현지의
of the
문화 역량을
citizens,
강화하는
as
데
well as
기여했을
the
뿐만 아니라
alliances
예술가,
between
주민,
the
그리고 또
public, private,
공공기관,
and civil
민간 부문,
society
시민
actors.
사회의 연결성을 강화해서 문화
And
역량을
related to
진진하는
target
데 크게 일조했습니다.
8.9, you
다음은
can find
세부
a
목표
policy that makes
8.9입니다.
possible
이
that cultural
프로젝트 같은
aspects
경우에는
are
세부 목표
integrated in tourism
8.9가
strategies,
추구하는
while ensuring that this does not imply
관광 전략의
decontextualization
문화적인
of
요소를
cultural
통합하고 그리고
identities.
이와 동시에
Well, the Managarat
문화
Festival in
정체성을
Catbalogan,
개념화하기
Philippines relates
위한
this
노력의
work
일환으로
and
진행이 되는
economic growth
프로젝트를 제가
with
선택을
tourism. In
해보았습니다.
addition to being
양질의
a great
일자리와 경제
tourism
성장을 관광
attraction,
부문의 융합을
it
시켜서
has
바라보는
really become
것인데요.
a
이
platform for the
마나가랏
support of local
페스티벌은
cultural
필리핀
diversity and environmental
카츠발로간에서
protection.
진행이 되었습니다. 이 페스티벌은 좋은 관광 아이템이 될
And let's
뿐만
go
아니라
now to
현지 문화
target
다양성을
9.1.
증진하고 환경을 보호하기
Related to
위해서
this
중요한
target,
플랫폼이
we can
되었습니다.
find a
다음은 세부
project
목표
that
9.1에
allows
대해서
that
말씀을
cultural
드리겠습니다.
infrastructures providing affordable and equitable access and
모두를 위한
opportunities to
적정
participate
가격에
and
공평한
cultural life
접근에
are part
중점을
of
두는
the quality,
것이고요.
reliable,
경제 발전과
sustainable,
인류의
and
웰빙을
resilient
지원하기
infrastructure
위한
that should be
지역별 그리고
available to
초국경
everyone.
인프라를 포함해서
To illustrate this
포함해서
target,
신뢰할
we
수
have
있는
the
양질의
Faros
지속 가능한
project in
보건력이
Mexico
있는
City.
인프라를
Faros
구축하는
means
것과
factories
일맥상통하는
of arts
프로젝트입니다.
and crafts.
바로
And this
파로스인데요.
project is an
멕시코
important
시티에서
and
진행이 되었습니다.
long-running
파로스는
initiative
Factories of
of
Arts
Mexico
and Crafts,
City,
미술
and it has
공예
provided cultural infrastructure
공장이라는
in
뜻인데요.
marginal
장기간
areas of the
동안
city,
진행이
offering
되어온 중요한
artistic
프로젝트입니다.
and craft
멕시코
training
시티
courses
내의
to people who
취약한
had
지역
no
내의 문화
access
인프라를
to the
구축하고
public
공공 문화 서비스에
cultural
대한
supply.
주민의 접근성을 높이기 위한 일환으로 미술 공예
And
교육 과정을
related to
제공하는
target
것입니다.
12.8,
세부 목표
we have the project of
12.8에 대해서
Bordeaux in
말씀을
France,
드리겠습니다.
Festival.
여기서는 제가 더
Well, this festival
페스티벌을 제가
allows to analyze,
선택을
recognize, and
해보았는데요.
foster the
발데
contributions made by traditional
마르네입니다.
knowledge
프랑스에서
and
진행이 되었습니다.
culture, to sustainable forms of production and consumption. Well, this festival
전통
was
지식과
created
문화
to
이야기의
claim the water
기여를
resources of the
인식하고
region,
육성하기 위한
which had been
접근을
greatly
일맥상통을 합니다.
deteriorated
이
by
페스티벌은
factories,
공장
and at the same
활동으로
time,
인해서
it also raises
많이 오염된
awareness among
수자원,
citizens
물을
and the
보호하기 위해서
public and
진행이
private
되었고
sectors
동시에
about their
공공부문,
role in the
민간부문, 그리고
management and
시민의
conservation of
자원
these
관리와
resources.
자원 보존
It
역할에 대한
consists of
인식을
installations,
제고했습니다.
shows, and
이
performances
프로젝트의
designed
일환으로
along the
설치물,
course of the
공연,
river.
축전 여러 가지가 강가를 따라서
And
진행되게
related
됐습니다.
to target
그다음은
12.V,
세부
we
목표
can find a project that
12.B입니다.
allows to analyze if the benefits made
이번
by the tourism
프로젝트는
actors
관광
are
부문에서
reinvested in
창출된
local
혜택이
cultural
현지
activities.
로컬 문화 활동에
The
재투자되는지
Mediterranean
여부를
Diet Project
분석하는
in
것과 맥을 같이
Chefchaouen in
합니다.
Morocco
제가
is
고른
based on the
프로젝트는
enhancement of
모로코
local gastronomy and
셰프쇼안의
handmade
지중해
products
식단
and is a
프로젝트입니다.
source of tourism
현지의
attraction
미식,
and
공예
revenues for the
제품을
city.
통해서
And the
관광을
important thing
유치하고
of this
그리고
project is that
도시의
these
관광 관련
revenues
수입을
have been
높이기 위해 진행이
invested
되었습니다.
or
여기 이
reinvested
프로젝트에서
into
정말 중요한 점은
support
이렇게
to
창출된
contemporary
수입은
creation,
현대
traditional knowledge,
창의물이라든지 전통적인
and
지식,
the cultural
전반적인
sector
문화와
in
같은
general.
분야에 투자 혹은 재투자되었다는
Related
것입니다.
to target
그 다음은
13.3, we can find a
세부 목표
project that explicitly
13.3입니다.
recognizes in cultural policies the connections between
문화
culture
정책,
and
기후
environmental
변화,
sustainability, including
보건력, 자원의 지속
concerns
가능한
about climate
활용과
change,
사용에 대한 고민을
resilience, and the
포함한
sustainable use of
문화와 환경 지속
resources.
가능성 사이의
Well, I've chosen
연관성을
the
명확하게
project The Soul of
인식하기 위한
Malmö in Sweden.
프로젝트입니다.
This project really
이
stands up for
프로젝트의
its
경우에는
comprehensive
제목이
vision
소울
of
오브
the role of
말모이고
culture in
스웨덴에서 진행이
sustainable
되었습니다.
development.
지속 가능한 발전 과정에서
It
문화의 역할에 대한
illustrates really well
포괄적이고
this target
종합적인
because among many
관점을
other things, it
채택하기에
includes a
두드러진
science center
거라고
focused on
생각합니다.
educating both
그리고 특히
school children
프로젝트의
and
일환으로
adults on the
학생과
impact
어른
of human
모두가
activity
인간
on the
활동이
environment.
환경에 미치는 영향에 대한 교육을
And
받을 수
related
있는
to
과학센터가
target
설립이 되었다는 것입니다. 그
15.9,
다음은 세부 목표
we can find the
15.9입니다.
project with explicit consideration of the notion of landscape in policies, integrating
이
both natural
경우에는
and cultural aspects of development.
자연 그리고
we
문화적인
think that the
측면에서
policy
개발을
of basin
바라보면서
control in
국가의
Quebec
풍경을 지킬 수 있는
illustrates really
정책을
well this one,
시행하기 위한
because it includes measures to
지속 가능한
protect
발전
its cultural
목표와
and natural
맥을 같이
heritage
하는
with special
프로젝트입니다.
attention to the urban landscape. And these
문화와
measures
자연 유산을
protect
보호하기
it
위한
from
조치를
the
구축하고
pressures
이행하기도
of
했고 특히
tourism
도시
and
풍경에 초점을
urban
맞췄다는 것이
development. So
특별했습니다.
it's all
관광과
about
도시 개발의
a
압박으로부터
matter
우리가
of
풍경,
balance, finding
자연,
a good
문화를 보호할
balance.
수 있는 방법이었습니다. 결국 균형이 관건이라는
Related to
것입니다.
target 11.8,
그 다음은 세부
we
목표
can find a project
11.A입니다.
that fosters the use of
이 프로젝트 같은
reference guide on
경우에는
cultural impact assessment within urban planning
도시 계획
policies.
정책의 문화 영향
Well,
평가를
my
위한
Santiago, in
지침을
Santiago de Chile,
강화하기 위한
tackled a
것인데요.
regional problem.
칠레
The most
산티아고에서 진행되었던
isolated
마이 산티아고라는
municipalities were excluded
프로젝트입니다.
from the public cultural life of the territory. And
공공
in this sense,
문화 생활에서 소외받는
the resources
지역과
were
계층을 위한
concentrated on the
프로젝트였는데요.
decentralization
대부분의
and active
자원이
participation
이
of the municipalities
프로젝트에서는
through
이런 문화
artistic and
생활을
training
탈중앙화하는
actions.
데에 집중이 되었고 그리고 예술 그리고 교육과
And let's go
같은
now to
활동을
target
증진하기
16.10.
위해서 그리고 이에 대한
Related
참여도를
to this one,
증진하기
we can
위해서
find a
활용이
project that
되었습니다.
allows
다음은
that
세부
cultural
목표
facilities, including
12.10입니다.
libraries and
이
knowledge
프로젝트
centers,
같은 경우에는
foster access
도서관,
to information.
지식센터와 같은 시설이
The School of the
정보에 대한
Commons in
접근성을
Dakar illustrates
높여주기
very
위한
well this.
것이라는
The aim
내용과
of this
맥을 같이
project is
합니다.
to use creativity and
School of
collective
Commons라는
knowledge to
다카르에서 진행이
empower
되었던
citizens to
프로젝트입니다.
tackle urban
창의력과 그리고
conflicts. This project
집단
is a sort
지성을
of
통해서
laboratory
도시에서
for
우리가
artistic
직면하게 되는 이런 여러 가지
experimentation
어려움과 분쟁
based
상황을
on
시민들이
free
잘 해결할 수
access
있도록 힘을
to
실어주기
culture
위한
and
프로젝트였습니다. 특히
education,
문화, 교육, 그리고
research,
연구, 실험,
experimentation,
지식
transmission of knowledge,
이전,
and
다양성,
respect
존중 이런
for diversity.
다양한
And
요소에
among other
대해서
things, it
실험적인
provides
예술을
access to
진행을
free
해보는
software.
약간 연구소 같은
Well,
랩
we are
형식의
almost getting to the
프로젝트였다고
end.
생각해 주시면 되겠습니다. 그리고 여기서 중요한 거는 무상 소프트웨어 활용도
Related to
가능했다는
target
것입니다. 여기가 마지막 세부
17.14,
목표인데요. 마지막은
we have culture, a pillar
17.14입니다.
of sustainable development. A project in
이
Cuenca,
프로젝트의
Ecuador.
제목은
It refers to the idea of explicitly
문화 지속 가능한
integrating
개발의
cultural policies and
축입니다. 에콰도르
strategies meant
쿠엔카에서
to
진행이
implement and
되었던
monitor the
프로젝트입니다.
SDGs at all
SDG를
levels.
모든 단계에서
Well,
이해하고
Cuenca is one of the
모니터링하기
cities that has
위해서
worked the
문화
most
정책과
Agenda
전략을
21 for
우리가
culture
명확하게
and
통합해야
Agenda 2030.
된다라는
And it has
개념과
adopted
맥을
a
같이 합니다.
very effective
쿠엔카와
cultural
같은
policies for the
경우에는
protection and promotion of
어젠다
cultural heritage, and
2030과
has
문화
also
어젠다
integrated them in urban
2030을
planning
가장
policies
잘
really well.
통합하기도 한 도시이기도 합니다.
Well, then
굉장히
with
효과적인
this
문화
example,
정책을
I finished this
이행함으로써
presentation,
문화
and I
유산을
truly hope
보호했습니다.
that this has been inspiring
이
and
사례를
useful
마지막으로
to
제
you.
발표를 마무리하고자
And
합니다. 제
well,
발표가
my
오늘
best
여러분에게
wishes
조금 영감이 되고
for your future.
유익했기를 바랍니다.
And
여러분
on behalf
모두
of UCLG
미래의
project committee,
성공을
thank you
빕니다.
all.
UCLG
And thank you,
문화위원회를
제주. I
대표해서
hope
여러분에게
that we
감사의
meet
말씀을
again
드리며
really
제주에
soon.
계신 여러분의 모두 다
Bye-bye.
감사를 드립니다. 조만간 직접 뵙기를 바랍니다. 경청해 주셔서 감사합니다.
네, UCLG 문화분과위원회 강연 잘 들으셨나요? 이것으로 성과 공유에
I hope that your presentations were instructive and enjoyable. With this, session 1 has now come to an end, and after a 5-minute break, we're going to begin the team presentations from the residency in session 2 at 1:45.
네, 안녕하세요. 지금부터 온라인 성과 공유의 2부를
Welcome
진행하도록
back. We will now begin with part 2 of the final presentation. This is being proceeded in a hybrid format, so I would like to ask all of you to turn your videos on and mute yourselves. Each team will be given 20 minutes for presentation, followed by a 5-minute feedback session by Ms. Eun Jung and the mentors. First, we will look at a video by the mentees of this program.
가파도에 와서 정말 기쁩니다.
I'm super excited to be here on Gapado Island in Jeju.
가파도가 이렇게 예술적인 공간이 있고 주민들의 삶의 터전이 잘 어우러진 공간이라는 걸 처음 알았어요.
여러 가지 영감을 받고
삶을 좀 어우러지게 할 수 있는 작품들과
삶에 적용시켜 나가는 그런 배움을 얻고 싶습니다.
That's very important experience for me because it's also my first residency experience in Korea. But I found it's really good and we all of us will have fun.
서로 고립돼서 같이 활동하다 보니까는 서로의 의견도 말해보고 들어주고 서로 소통을 하면서 약간 우리 팀원 모두가 각각 서로의 멘토가 되는 시간이었어서 너무 좋았습니다.
Have a look about Beyond Good and what we can help with the community, and it has been an interesting time, and we noticed a lot of trash which is affecting the beauty of Beyond. So our project, we're trying to look for how to solve Beyond more cleaner.
뭔가 일단 우리가 어떤 경험이 있었는지, 그리고 우리가 무엇을 배웠는지, 누구를 만나는지 이러한 이야기를 다른 사람들과 나눌 예정입니다.
여러 아름다운 풍경도 봤지만 또 바다 쓰레기들도 굉장히 많이 봤거든요. 그래서 이 바다 쓰레기의 기원은 어디일까라는 주제로 작업을 한번 다 같이 해보기로 일단은 이야기를 했고요. 그 여러 가지 음악도 만들고 또 그 주민분들 인터뷰도 하면서 여러 의견 교류해 나가고 리서치도 하고 있습니다.
It's my second time here, but this time I'm paying attention to small details and the feeling here of the park. We can feel the energy and the story, so there's so many things behind. They're not only rocks.
제주도는 자연에 접할 수 있는 공간들이 많아서 창의적 작업을 하기 좋은 것 같고,
여기는 자연이 좀 더 활발하게 이제 존재하고 있는 것 같아요.
그 공유한 느낌을 토론을 통해서 어떻게 주제를 좁혀갈지 이야기를 많이 나눴는데요. 제주도를 정말 온몸으로 느낄 수 있는 기회를 가지려고 많이 노력했고, 옛날 분들을 상상하면서 여기에 살아 계셨을 그런 정신, 그런 마음, 그런 느낌을 퍼포먼스와 영상으로 표현하기로 했습니다.
그룹에서 지내는 거 뭐 처음인데요. 이제 아마 친구들은 다 이렇게 잘하신 분들인 것 같아서 아마 저희가 같이 함께 좋은 프로젝트를 만들 수 있을 것 같습니다.
저의 시선으로서와 이제 외국인 친구들의 시선으로서 또 뭐 육지에서 살다가 제주살이 시작하신 분의 시선으로서도 되게 다양한 시각이 제시가 되는 게 저는 되게 흥미로웠었던 것 같아요.
또 글로벌한 친구들하고 또 언어적으로는 조금 부족하지만 더 이렇게 언어가 아닌 그 외에 좀 더 깊은 얘기들도 의외로 나눌 수 있었다는 게 그게 굉장히 새로운 경험이고 되게 저한테 되게 의미가 이번에 굉장히 크게 느껴져서 계속 저한테 새로웠고 특별했고 또 오래 기억이 남을 것 같아요.
네, 인터뷰 영상 너무너무 잘 봤습니다. 여러분
Thank you for the interview video. It was great to see your faces again and listen to your voices. There wasn't a lot of chances for us to meet offline, but it was still very great. I am Eun Jang, the General Director, and I hope I was able to see the possibilities that this program provides becoming in fruition thanks to your output. And now we will listen to the team presentations. We were all looking forward to this moment. And during your presentation, please introduce your team and talk about what you did during the program. We will start with Team Kashiri. The team members are Beksod Olimov, Hemin Song, Junhyuk Kang, Ola Osian, Kai Kim, and the presenters are Junhyuk Kang. Please go ahead.
마이크 켜주시겠어요?
I think you're on mute. Please turn on your mic. Hello, everyone. My name is Junhyuk Kang, the presenter for Team Kashiri. Let me start right away. The Team Kashiri divided our work in two parts. The first part was about Kashi Richer by Junhyuk Kang and Hemin Song. We use lidar scanning and 3D sculpting. We went out to use the 3D lidar scanner to scan the objects such as grass and trees of Kashiri and virtually recreated this into a hybrid new form of creature. And we also took images of the backgrounds of Kashiri to create this non-existing creature and created a video that is fake documentary.
잠깐만요. 제가 지금 혼자
Please, just a moment. Am I the only one having difficulty to watch the video? Is everyone all right? After the presentation, we will have a session for feedback. No, I'm not talking about that. The video. Well, I don't think this is a full screen mode. Don't you think so? I don't think it's on full screen. You mean you can't see the video? No, the size. Size is not right. If everyone else is okay, I think that's my personal problem. Well, we can see the video, but it seems like the video is cropped. It's not in full screen mode, so I think... Junhyuk, what do you think? Is this right? Well, this is full screen, but because it's within the presentation material, it's a little cropped, but I think we can just proceed. Okay, then please go ahead. Okay, I will play the video again.
네, 그래서 저희가 가시리를 바라봤을 때
So from our view of Kashiri, although I live in Jeju, there were a lot of unfamiliar landscapes, and we were inspired by it. For example, when we walk through dark woods, we imagine things that don't exist and are scared. So these kind of inspirations were used for us to create a new form of creature as a team project. And we created a fake documentary with this. We minimized the exposure of the creature that we created, and the video was edited in an unfriendly way in order to create this image of a creature that is unapproachable. Next, let me explain the concepts for the creature that we generated as part of this project, starting with Kanga. We visited the Halmi shrine in Kashiri, which is a shrine that worships a god in a folklore religion in Jeju. When we went there, we saw an excavator obstructing the entrance, and we thought of a creature that guards the Halmi shrine. And the Halmi shrine used to be an area that men could not enter. It was a woman-only area. So we thought of a creature, a god that has the form of a female. So among animals, we thought one of the animals that represent female roles would be a kangaroo. So we used the image of a kangaroo to create this creature. The next creature was also related to Halmi shrine. When we thought about the god worshipped in the Halmi shrine, we thought of a god in Buddhism. You can see the hands at the background, and we scanned the hands of our teammates to create this image, and various objects in Kashiri were collected to symbolize Kashiri with this form of a goddess. Next, let me talk about Kashiri at a Glance by Osiang. It was in hybrid form of photography and AI. While we traveled around Kashiri, we were inspired the sense of community, and that made us thought of reminiscence generated by good memories of the past. We know that memories become blurred as time passes by, but it becomes more precious. So being inspired this notion, we created these posters. The posters show the clear images that's generated at the moment of coming across this new memory or image.
그래서 비디오는 어떤 희미해지는 기억들,
And the video depicts the fading and transitioning memories.
작업했던 것 같습니다. 그래서 어떤 저희 팀의 어떤 관통하는 주제로는
So one of the overarching themes of our team was, well, when we first visited Kashiri, there were concepts or images that were suggested to us, including historical events and the symbolic objects in Kashiri. However, rather than information given by the Kashiri people, we focused on our subjective observations and reinterpretation of these observations. So these were the outputs that we created. And let me share with you the landscapes that we enjoyed in Kashi in a 1-minute video.
네, 그래서 이제 마지막으로 제 소감을 조금
So
말씀드리겠습니다.
lastly, let me share my impression of this program. Well, recently, I have been feeling that I have come across a wall that I could not move forward, and I locked myself in. But during the program, we saw the theme Flowing Island. We did not mix that into our work, but from my position at the time, I felt like I myself have become one of the flowing islands. And I would like to thank everyone for supporting us throughout the program to make progress. And I would also like to thank Ocean, Karisha, Kahi, Hemin, our managers, and Ayang, the director. With this, I will wrap up our presentation. Thank you. I was really moved. Let's give a big round of applause once again to the team. So as you've mentioned, you were in an unfamiliar environment, facing unfamiliar things, and you created something that does not exist in the world. So when we were organizing the team Kashiri, we thought what this team of people from various backgrounds would create, and we were really surprised about the outcome. And I saw you thanking the mentees and the manager, the director. Thank you for expressing your gratitude, and we could feel the warmth.
For everyone, if you are clapping, when you're clapping, please unmute yourselves, but otherwise, please keep yourselves on mute.
윤희박 베른트 교수님 순서로 한 말씀 해주시면 너무
And we will
감사하겠습니다.
now listen to the mentors' feedbacks, starting with Hae-young Lee. Do we have her? I am here. It was a very fresh approach. I was really impressed. And my question is, what is the round face between the rocks? Well, I think we won't have the time to explain all that, but one thing I would like to mention is about your work on Mandara, because you did not present on that. Can you explain Mandara? What happened to Mandara? There's a lot of noise because I have my children around, so it creates a friendly mood. It's okay. So regarding Mandara, we found a lot of meaning during the process rather than the result. I am still working on it. It reminded me of my friends and made me wish for their successful future in the future. I hope we can make time to work on that going forward. I think the process is more meaningful than the outcome. So although we could not see in the presentation, I know how closely the teammates of Kashiri team have worked together. I've listened to your stories as well throughout the program, and you used computer technology. And because of the teammates who were capable of these techniques, you created a creature mixing the images of the shrine and the excavator. So it was a very new approach to the shrine because it was an excavator actually blocking the way toward the shrine. So it was kind of an upturn of the traditional ideas of a shrine, which was very interesting. And the video reminding us of reminiscence and good memories was beautiful. Thank you very much for your great work. Thank you. Well, the mentors have provided a lot of support. I think they would have a lot of things to talk about. I envy all the mentors. Now let's move on to Chinook. I think you're on mute. I enjoyed the presentation. It's great to see all of you again. Well, Team Kashiri, we had great fun working together. And to our mentees, remember I told you, let's just have fun a lot of the times. And I really like the creature that you created, the goddess. I think it's my style. The excavator was used for a construction at that time when we were there. So I remember discussing how to use the excavator. I really enjoyed your output, and your original ideas were well presented with your output, and I could see the vivid colors that all of you have through the video and the artwork. I could see how you were inspired. Thank you for the great presentation. Now moving on to Unipark.
Hello. I really enjoyed the presentation to see the playfulness of this mixing this technology, AI technology, and can you hear me? Okay. 다 들려요? And I enjoyed. Okay, I enjoyed yes, this playful combination of technology and these ideas meshed and capturing Darabi Odum, this experience together when we went up, really brings back good memories of that time together in Kashiri. I also enjoyed the photographs by Ocean. Just this idea of fading memories and how they kind of just distorted based on our interpretations. Yeah, and especially the creatures. This very creative approach to this culture of Jeju, of the shrine goddesses. I really enjoyed, and it seems like you guys all had fun. It's unfortunate that the Mandela project didn't come into this presentation, but yes, I agree with Gayong that it's a lot about the process, this journey versus the final result. So I really enjoyed. Thank you.
감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you. So you went up the autumn with them. I was really jealous after I heard that. I heard it was beautiful. Now moving on to Bernd, Professor.
Hello everybody, good to see you again. I enjoyed the presentation. I think according to the time, you know, what you had was interestingly developed. But being a professor, you know, normally we still start also criticizing, but in a positive sense, you know. You made some experiences in a certain way of dealing with media and structures So try to keep that in mind and think about it, what you could do better, actually. I think everybody of you knows that at some points you could do better in terms of technical results. It's not possible in this short time. The idea itself, the project itself, very good, very interesting approach. According to the final structures, when you move to the media structure, it takes a lot of time. So anybody who is motivated to do it, you have to understand that it's not doing just one time in a short sense and everything is finished. You have to set up your goal, you have to learn it hard and develop it, and then the result will come out in a completely different way. But all in all, I think we made a very good job. I enjoyed it, also working with you together. So go on, take the best out of it and continue that way. Thank you.
감사합니다.
멘토님들 말씀
Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you for the feedback, all the mentors. You shared the great moments shared together, a great feedback on the work. Thank you very much. It was really informative.
이제는 가파도 팀 발표해 주시겠습니다.
Next on, we're going to move on to the Kapado team. Please get ready. I'm going to introduce you to the team. Mr. Im Junye, Park Hyunji, Kang Hyunji, Kim Anastasia, Kim Sang-hoon, Allison Kaylee. The presenters will be Kim Anastasia and Park Hyunji. Please go ahead.
보이시죠?
Can you see the screen?
저희 가파도 팀 발표할게요.
We'll begin our presentation. Before we dive into the main contents, I want to talk a little bit about Kapado. Kapado comprises 0.045% of the entire Jeju area and is home to 200 residents and is at 20 meters at its highest point. That is why rising sea levels are a threat to this island, and it submerges quite a lot of the time, and there's a lot of rocks and stones around the island. We were able to see quite a unique ecosystem here, and we arrived here and we wanted to think about what we could do. So we wanted to start exploring Kapado in our own way. So after exploring Kapado, we came up with the keywords that came to our mind when we thought of Kapado. And so we came up with the keywords, the Kapado plant data and a journey through Kapado. First, I'm going to be talking about a diary of plants in Kapado. I'm going to be talking about an introduction, the process, and our impressions. First of all, is an introduction of ourselves. We have Park Hyunji, Im Junye, and Kang Hyunji, who have their own independent strengths, but they came together under the common theme of plants. Now I'm going to be talking about the process. So we were very interested in the various types of plants, and so we went out to look at these plants and collect the plants, and we went out individually as well to really immerse ourselves in the environment and to acclimate ourselves to the environment here as well. So we collected a lot of different types of plants and we looked at each one in detail, and that revealed a really inner beauty of these plants that we couldn't see when it was growing outside. Now here you see us cutting the plants.
처음에 다 함께 그렇게 식물의 다양한 모습을
So in the beginning, we looked into these plants and then we went out again the next day to collect the plants we each wanted to collect, and then we put them all together.
그렇게 모은 식물들과 저희가 가파도에 몰입했던 과정.
We collected the plants, and based on our immersion into the environment, we created individual projects based on our perspectives and our experience and impressions and ideas. So in this process, we were able to share our knowledge with each other and help motivate and inspire each other as well. And we also were influenced by Kapado, and we believe we also influenced Kapado as well. This is the first outcome, and this shows the inner memories. This represents the sun down, or the setting of the sun, the evening glow in Kapado. And the plants aren't fixed to the plastic crate. So they move, the pieces move with the wind, and the shadow towards the back shows the deep and double nature and the emotions that you feel. We shared these ideas with each other, and we came together to really try to give a sense of what Kapado was to us in this work. The next is by Im Junye. The plants in Kapado shows us that a lot of the different stages of life. They don't disrupt each other, and they're not in conflict with each other. Some may be fast and some may be slow, but they each have their timeline. And this shows that the time and space in which the plant existed is disintegrated and is newly put together. So this symbolizes our life and how we can put the different elements together in a beautiful way.
마지막 강연지 일러스트레이터의
Next
작품입니다.
is illustrator Kang Yeon-ji's Every single day from sunrise to sundown, Kang Yeon-ji went around Kapado and collected a lot of different things from Kapado. And the work shows the low-lying roofs of the houses in Kapado, and this shows the beautiful nature in Kapado's environment.
마지막으로 이 작품 활동을 마치며
Now, in closing, after UCLG, we felt the following. We regained joyful freedom by the way of playing with arts and made some longtime friends. Thank you for listening. And now we're going to be moving on
Good day, everyone. I'm Kim Anastasia.
to the next presenter.
Our group presentation, our group project, A Journey Through Kapado, that was made by Sanhun, Anastasia, and Elisan. Our presentation consists of photos of Kapado Island, second realities of Kapado, and then our group project. Here you can see pictures made by Sanhun during our little trip on the island. Beautiful, right? The realities of Kapado. More than 70% of tourists flock to the island during spring and during festivals. They stay for only a short time, but most of the residents of Kapado Island are active after the last ship leaves. This makes interaction between the tourists and locals difficult, and later you will know why we highlighted this topic. The process of making project. At first, there were ideas of creating Kapado Culture Street, bunkers of light for tourist attraction, and providing greenhouses, making silk flowers and videos to experience Kapado green barley through the year.
However, after hearing the mentor's advice that we need to be realistic, we thought about what we should do and decided to use our strengths, skills, and majors that led to the idea of making our current project. So we mixed Sanho's idea of providing tourists chance to immerse themselves in the island deeply and to feel a deeper connection to it and its residents, took Ellison illustration panel idea and artist skills, and Anastasia idea of creating website and QR codes to introduce Kapado. Before introducing our idea, I want to add some reasons why we ended up making that kind of project. When we met people that are living there and did an interview with them, we understood how local people love and appreciate the nature of Kapado. After long discussion, we decided to make art that will be fitted to nature and not disturb it. As you can see, the illustration, we decided to make a glass panel where artists can play their artwork of Kapado unique features. Here, our team artist Ellison drew henna during work. We decided to draw this after hearing a lot of stories of local hennas and wanted to highlight this feature. In addition, as you can see here, we placed a QR code. If you scan it, you will see the Kapado Island through the eyes of residents that will give deeper understanding to the beauty of the island. It allows both direct and indirect experience to be satisfied at the same time. You might ask us why we add QR code. After interviewing residents of Kapado Island, we concluded that during the bloom of green barley, a lot of tourists can sometimes disturb the work of hennas and other workers of the island. That's why, after scanning QR code, people can easily get information about local hennas, island life, and nature from the residents' point of view, without interrupting them. Here, you can scan it through your phones and see a website that was made by Anastasia, me. I will give you a few seconds if you want to watch our website by yourself. Also, there's a little advertisement, so you should wait for 5 seconds. Okay, did you finish? Let's continue. If you go through the link, you can see pictures that were made by our group on Kapado Island. Inspiration slogan, an island where green barley and wind greet you. Information about Kapado Henyo, a photo of the director of the gallery that we met on our first day on Kapado Island. For remark, all like beautiful on the island, all women are so beautiful. Below you can find an interview that we did about Kapado Hennas. Later you can listen the whole part. More information about hennas, and here in the end of website you can watch YouTube video about Kapado Island. It's only a sample website that in the future can be filled with more information about Kapado. Let's back to our presentation. Here you can see some related projects. Inspired by the artworks of Jeju and Kapado artists, we brought the idea of decorating our glass panels not only with rocks, but also with Kapado plants, and even make surrounded panels in the field of green barleys in the future. Thank you for listening to our group project, and if you have any questions, you can ask it after we finish our presentation, because we have something more to show you. Our team has spent together only 5 days, but it felt like we know each other for a long time. Now we want to conclude this presentation with our team little photo diary. At first day, if you look at photos, you can say that we were so tired that one of us even fell asleep when we were visiting director of gallery. Also at first day, we didn't have EMARs on the island and cafes were all closed, so we cooked dinner together. On the second day, we rented bicycles and went to a little trip around the island. Also with Ihe mentor, we prayed to Kapado gods and saw the sea view together. On the third day, we already decided what kind of project we are going to make, so we divided into 2 teams and started to work. Next day, with mentor Unipark, we went to swim, investigated the area for the project, and ate delicious seafood. Last day we felt a little bit tired, but at the same time we were very excited because we were talking and eating snacks together the whole night. Before leaving the residence, we took a lot of funny pictures and said goodbye to each other. Lastly, we want to thank this program foundation, mentors, and all staff that work for this program. We are so glad that we were the part of this program because here we met people from different backgrounds and majors. Of course, at first we had a little argument. However, we successfully resolved everything, and in the end, we enjoyed every moment with each other on the island. And I believe in the future we will meet outside the program too. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Now you can ask any questions about the project.
발표 너무 잘 들었고요. 너무 잘해
Thank you
주셨습니다.
so much for your presentation. That was an awesome presentation. We said before about the diversity of backgrounds and majors during our orientation, and we were really looking forward to the outcome of all of this put together. And I know it wasn't easy because most of the time you have a goal in mind and the project is set in stone. But at JCR, what we do is JCR, we give you the freedom. We give you the freedom to where you want to go. We give you the location and the residence where you will be staying, but the rest is up to you. So it's completely free. And your presentation really shows that this type of freedom allows for more creativity and something even better. So thank you for that. You've all come together to make the best of each of your strengths and to play to your strengths. So thank you so much. We'll ask our mentors to give a few comments as well. Ms. Lee, will you please start? I guess I'm number one for the rest of the session. Well, Kapado in my memory, I think was the most energetic. I think everyone was a star, everyone was shining, and I actually missed my ship, so I arrived late. And but we were able to talk about so much, and we rode bicycle throughout Kapado, and I remember that. And for me personally, it was really impressive to see that in your work. And also, we have different majors, photographers, illustrators, and also landscape architecture majors. And I think these types of diverse backgrounds came together really well to amplify each of your strong suits. And I think it didn't stop at the physical. I think it really went down to the emotions and the inner parts as well. And I think that was so beautiful. How to be immersed in Kapado. I wasn't able to take the QR code early on. I was a little bit late, so I wasn't able to read through all of it right now, but it was really impressive that throughout and that in Kapado, you were able to come up with this seed and you were able to develop it into the project that you wanted it to become. So it was really impressive, and I would love to meet you in person to hear about this in more detail. But I will make sure to go over the QR code website in more detail. Thank you so much. Mr. Lee? Yes, that was a great presentation. Unlike Mr. Lee, Miss Lee, who said that the energy was hot in Jeju Island, for me it was quite cool, but I'm talking about the weather, of course. But in my memory, we had this time where we talked to each other about our ideas, and I remember that all of you had different strengths and majored in different areas and different expertise. And I thought that this group really well represented the vision and goals of this residency program. So it was good to see the outcomes of that. And I think that Kapado is going to be a very good chapter in my memory, thanks to you throughout my life. Thank you so much. Miss Uni Park, what was the weather like when you were there?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was stunning. It was my first time, second time in Kapado for this project. I was very impressed with the unique nature of Kapado, and to be able to see a different perspective of Sambangsan area. quite unique, the landscape there. I particularly enjoyed the Gapudo team. Their energy was incredible. So much energy for this, the details. The meticulousness of the first team, almost like a science lab. I really enjoyed this meticulous detailing of the different kinds of plants. And also, because I also have more of a background in landscaping, I enjoyed these observations and the poetic sort of nature of light and shadow, and or even the philosophies around time and space. Quite enjoyed the first project as well. And the second project, the QR code, I think it's quite brilliant. Not being a technical person myself, but the practicality of how to access the Henyos and the local community without disrupting their work, their local life. Really impressed. I would say my criticism would be that the functionality of glass on an island like Apado, the strong winds and the ocean, fear it's a little bit delicate of the material, beautiful yet the practicality. So I'm interested in seeing the development in the material form, how that could work, and I hope that it becomes an app, a real app. I think the locals would love it. I appreciate it, and yeah, the function of it as well as being sensitive to the community of the island. I really appreciate. I also had more time, I think, with this team versus the other team, just to talk about their own personal journeys and the diversity of the group. I really enjoyed hearing their stories, and it was the last day of the 4 days, so we had a little more time to relax and talk. Yeah. So thank you for the presentation.
네, 베른티 교수님.
Yes, next Professor Bernti.
Thank you very much. All, in Kabado, all three teams, they had different approaches. This was for me very interesting. They were partly struggling with the situation in a positive sense and putting a lot of effort in it. When I see it now, it's really good thing is coming out, was coming out actually in the end. I set up I don't know whether it works. I set up a link, for the first team. I sent it for the chat, because there was a very famous German photographer who was developing in the 1930s, actually, the idea of plants and photography. So if you don't know him, Karl Bloßfeld will be very good inspiration for you guys in this kind of structure. You did a good job, I think, also like experimenting, like figuring out simple materials, simple methods, bringing them together according to the time. Perfect job. I think you can even develop it, try to, this is also each group. I will also want to emphasize that you made now certain experience, like under really difficult conditions, like you don't have so much stuff to work with, but even with this kind of simplicity, that you made a certain result. This kind of experience is something very important for artists, that even you get under certain restrictions and you find solutions for these restrictions. This is something very, very wealthy. Afterwards, you will understand that later. And so under these conditions, when I see the project, you did a very good job, especially these cutting plans. I think they tried even different approaches. The drawing job, for example, it was for me interesting to see in the presentation now, these small pattern drawings, the power, because of the size, the power was not so strong in the first view. But if you see them in the presentation beside the photographs, like in the same size, same value, all of a sudden the translation becomes more visible and it becomes more interesting visually. So you should think about this kind of phenomena as well. Maybe like the size could have been a problem, but the approach was interesting anyway, no problem. And in the last project with the glass wall, I also a little bit agree to Uni Park, like maybe you don't need this kind of construction with the glass and the drawing. I think the idea just with the QR code and the linking the environment to the internet media, I checked a little bit the homepage. This was quite good and an interesting approach. So sometimes, restrictions, simplicity lets us develop more interesting points in terms of artworks afterwards when it comes out. All guys of you did a good job. I think it was nice to work with you there in Capado. Okay, thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 작품도 굉장히 좋았어요.
Thank you for your comment. The artwork was great, but I think the process, the means to the end was beautiful. The atmosphere of really trying to be compassionate towards the local residents. And thank you so much for all of your comments. Really, we always just say thank you for your comments. That was a good comment. But really, I think all of our mentors are providing us with invaluable opinions. These aren't just, oh, you did good, this was great, but this really gives us an opportunity to delve deeper into what we should do in the future about how we can improve upon our projects. So thank you for your really invaluable comments, genuinely. Next up, we're going to be moving on to the next team's presentation about 교레리, 이은지, 엄밀라나, Yera, Tricia, and Julia. The presenters will be Julia Morley and Lian Zhang. If you have a video that you want to show and we have it, you can always signal to us so that we can show it for you.
Thank you very much. So, hello everyone, my name is Julia. So today, as I said before, me and Eunjeon, we are going to present the Gyeore team project. So first, briefly about our group. We were in 3 Koreans, so Eunjeon, Shinseol, and Yera, and 2 foreigners, so Tricia, Milana, and me. So not only our cultural background were different and our age, but also our art language. But all of us were into art, so this was very interesting. And for this creative residency, we are the Gyeore team because we stay in the Gyeore Recreation Forest, but our workplace was the Stone Park. And for our project, we decided to work all of us together, combining our majors and do a performance. So which we will show now. So 영상을 들어주시겠어요?
Could you turn on the video, please?
The first video, please.
네, 첫 번째 비디오 틀겠습니다.
So we just saw our main video, in which now I'm going to explain a little bit about our process. So before going to Jeju, so as soon as we got to know who was going to be in our team, we create a Kakao group. We had online meeting, and we even create a Jamboard to get to know our group, our common interests, and search reference as well. So this is our Jamboard. We had a lot of ideas in the beginning. We changed a lot, but it's all part of the process. And then we met in Jeju, and our first mentoring was with Unipak mentor님, where we could brainstorm better our ideas. So we actually first went to explore the stone park, and one thing that particularly caught our attention was the empty spaces on the stone wall. So the wall was not full of concrete or something, there was space between the rocks. And also the fact that we felt that we could breathe better in this wild space. So this is a little bit of our process. We first did an individual brainstorm, and it was also interesting to see that each one did a different type of brainstorming. So for example, even for me, I put a lot of words, and there were people that put only drawings. And then we put all together and try to transform in only one thing. And we first started developing our project by getting to know more our workplace. So use not only Jeju as our inspiration, but also the stone park is also full of history, so the culture and everything. So we explored the stone park with the mentors, with a local guide, and also by ourselves too. And we also had the opportunity to first, we went to a beach, the 월정리 해변 with Bernard mentor님, which was the first day that we went outside our location. So for those who don't know much about the stone park, it is kind of isolated. So even for food, we receive lunchbox or cook by ourselves. So get outside a little bit, it helped us to receive more inspiration. So we also went to forest with Lee-hyung mentor님, where we could also learn more about the local culture, see other part of the nature. For me, this was an amazing experience. And as I said, so we received a lot of inspirations, and we started to looking for more references. And also this drawing here is Ira Shijid, not specifically to do something about natural elements, but to incorporate this inspiration through body movement. So since the beginning, we already had this idea of doing a performance. But then, well, we saw that we were too focused on creating something in the beginning. And of course, we wanted to produce something, but then we had these moments like going to the beach, eating delicious food, and slowly getting close to each other and creating good memories. So we start to enjoy more the opportunities and build relationships. And from that on, that was when we could start creating. So letting this pressure go away, and we enjoy the moment. We also capture a lot of things while enjoying these moments. So for example, even inspired by Ijinok mentor님, we recorded sounds of birds walking, the sounds of the sea. And also when we went to the Manjangur cave, so we actually went there to explore, but we got inspired, and then we did a performance as well that we are going to show now. So 다음 영상을 틀어주시겠어요?
Could you play the next video clip, please?
네, 제가 후반부 발표를 하겠습니다.
I am going to be the presenter for the second part of this presentation. Thank you, Julia, for the good presentation. And I'm going to be going over the cooperation process. But before that, allow me to give you a brief overview about some of the obstacles that we faced. Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Well, I'm sure that this goes for all the teams, but during this residency, I know it's isolated residency, but it was truly isolated because we were strictly in adherence of COVID-19 prevention measures. So we all slept apart from each other. We even ate apart from each other. And we were extremely diligent in keeping to the COVID-19 measures. And we did so because, of course, you should spend a lot of time together with your teammates to come up with a team project. But given the situation, we thought that we should respect the situation that we are in, the challenges that we are in, when we should also think about the other people that are in this environment with us. But towards the end, we realized that we were running out of time. And so we made some time. We set outside some time for a meeting, a team meeting. And we divided up into sub-meetings as well to go on tours and explorations. And I think after we began that process and started to sort of let go, I think our teamwork really came to light. And aside from that obstacle related to COVID-19, as Julia said, we had a very diverse array of artistic backgrounds or even language barriers that we faced as well. But in the end, we realized that this wasn't just a challenge and obstacle. It was all about how we can make the best of the given circumstances, about how we can even make things better, building on the diversity that was available to us. So, for example, the inconveniences of having to keep a face mask on and being restricted in terms of where you're able to go, with whom, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that became a part of building relationships for the teamwork. And in the end, I think it was incorporated in our project as well, in some of our themes and topics. Breathing and trying to do some free movement or even touching each other in a very open space outside, or these were some of the ideas and some of the wants, and I think that really sprouted from the wants and needs. The next is about collaboration. Next slide, please. This is about collaboration. Most of our mentors said that the result is just the result and you should enjoy the process. And so we really took this message to heart. So our motto, whenever we run into challenges, was, let's just enjoy it. And I think that helps alleviate the pressure and create a stress-free environment and help us really get through to the end without a lot of hiccups. The first video clip that you saw and the clip that I will show you later on were mostly shot on the very last day, because when we divided our roles, we didn't designate a leader. The way we divided it was we just gave freedom to everyone. Three wanted to do a performance, one did the performance, and those wanted to shoot, Julia helped shoot, and some recorded the sound. So it was just a natural way of dividing out our roles. And we didn't have a complete storyboard from the get-go. We just kind of went with the flow. We selected a few locations and the performance had an sort of image in their heads, but we experimented with the ideas that we had and some people gave some feedback. And
죄송한데요. 소리가 이게
we were able to. Sorry, I think that your mic
정말 잘 듣고 싶습니다. 네.
is attached to something. Is it okay now? It's a lot clearer. Thank you so much. Now we're able to hear your beautiful voice.
그래서 안타깝네요. 앞에 더 말씀해 주셨으면 좋았을 거. 아무튼
I'm sorry about that. Well, anyway, so that's how we divided up our roles. And in between the shootings, we also just, if we wanted to, recorded sounds and took pictures as well. And so throughout the entire process, we didn't have a team leader who would make the decisions, and we were always open to ideas. And we were free from thinking that we had to make something. So it's a pressure-free environment as well. So as I told you throughout the process, we came up with a lot of big ideas, like the circular nature and ecosystem that Jeju has, and the myths of Jeju, and so on and so forth. But at the micro level, I think these types of big ideas really appeared in our relationships as well. For example, with the empty spaces in the stone wall, for example, it's all a culmination and of the unseen stories, of the unseen history that is there and embedded there. So that's what we thought. And I think we can show the third video clip at this point, please.
마이크 켜주세요.
I think you're on mute. Please unmute yourself. Can we go on to the next slide? This shows our work process. We made our outfits ourselves, and we went to explore to see which setting we wanted to shoot in. And next slide. Okay, I guess this is the end. Thank you so much for listening to our team's presentation. And thank you so much to all the mentors who helped us out. And thank you to the staff members for putting together such an amazing program. And all of our team members really enjoyed the experience. Thank you. I think the Kyoreri team was truly isolated. Your sleeping arrangements were also quite far away, and in the process, It was great to see that you came together to really try to connect to the soul, the nature of everything. And it was also interesting to see that there was no leader or a follower. It was everyone to move together. And I think that's true teamwork. And I think that was really that really showed through in your work. I ask our mentors to keep it really short because we are running out of time. In the same order, please. Go ahead. I was most interested to see the outcome of this team actually because you were the most isolated. And on day 3, I met with the Kyoreri team, and I heard that you were going to do a performance, but it seemed that you were really short on time, so I was quite worried. And also, starting with the intro image of you putting your head down, I think it really even slowed down my respiratory rate, my breathing. And the very last scene also was extremely emotional as well. It shows a depth that you're transcending time and space in your inspiration. So thank you. And I want to say so many things, but since you say we're running out of time, I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm going to just say that it was very emotional, very impressive, and very good work. Mr. Lee, could you keep it short as well? I met the Kyoreri team on the very last day, and I know that you were running short on time, but it's great to see, and it's really encouraging to see your outcome given the short amount of time that you had. And when we were talking on the last day, I know that you were trying to use the cracks in the rocks, and I was really curious how that would come out, and I think it's so nice.
Hello? 윤희 멘토님 한 말씀 해주세요.
Yes, go ahead.
So I was with the Kyorei team on day 1, and the observations of this empty space between the stone walls, the stones in the wall, in the traditional way, I was quite impressed with the sensitive observation, and then to run with that, to see the development over 4 days, quite impressed. Also, my background in space and architecture, you really captured in the very first video performance the essence of the natural materials in the traditional way of building the choka house. I imagine what it was like you can imagine what it would be like to live in intimate spaces, the beauty of these natural materials and the texture and the emotions of the energy that's unseen, how space is alive and present. It was very poetic. In each of the 3 performances, I found quite emotional. Yeah, I felt the sort of depth of unspoken empty space. So thank you very much. Quite happy to see the results.
네, 베른트 멘토님.
And next, Bernd.
Yeah, it was good to see the videos now from the final result. When I met you guys, it was very, most of you girls, sorry. It was really like very impressive for me because they were very artistic minds actually, and very like looking for something with a good energy. This was a very good impression. For me, interestingly now, what Julia was talking about, relationships and creations, you know, it's something very interesting because like relationships create sometimes creations, and creations afterwards can create afterwards relationships. This kind of structure is very interesting for artists, and what I was impressed most was really like the creative mind and artistic mind of the group. Enjoyed really much talking to you, and continue your work, see it critically, develop it, and then there will be a good result in the end. Thank you.
멘토님들 좋은 피드백 감사합니다. 진짜 하고
Thank you so much to our mentors for all your comments. I know that you have a lot that you would want to say. I'm sorry we couldn't give you more time. And it truly was extremely impressive and emotional. I think that we got that message across. And next up, we're going to be moving on to the next team.
Team members are Dominhan, Hyunsang Yu, Hyunjang Shin, Youngsub, Kaya, and Victoria. It will be presented by Victoria and Youngsub.
네, 비양도 팀 발표 시작하겠습니다.
I will now begin with Team Byangdo's presentation. Do you hear me? Yes.
우선 발표에 앞서
But before I go into the presentation, let me introduce our team. We have Hyunsang, the musician, Hani, the video creator and editor, producer Hyunjang,
저희 팀의 리더였죠.
our leader, an environmental activist and paper cutter Kaya, and Victoria, who really loves music and has a great voice, and Youngsub, who is an architect and musician. He also sang our song. And we also have Jung-in, the video director, and our supporter manager Dongjun. So in total, we have 8 members.
우선은 이번 레지던시
First of all, let me explain our impression from the program. The keyword is perspective, which means our direction of our thoughts. So in Byangdo, we had really poor phone reception. Even within the island, it was really difficult to reach each other via phone. So unintentionally, the signals from outside were cut off, and this made us feel more isolated and made us think about where we are. And with that, we were able to see the beauty of Byangdo and also the problems the islands have been experiencing. So we came to realize where we are and also connect that with the talent each of us had and set the direction for our results. And it was the opportunity for us to feel and think about where we are and understand what we want to do. And in this process, isolation is an important key factor. So under this isolated environment, we were able to receive new things from outside. So that's why the keyword new body. We used our 5 different senses to understand the island, sensing the island with the senses of the island. On the first day, we walked around Byangdo Island. It was a really sunny day. We had the mentor with us. We didn't know it's going to rain. We didn't have an umbrella, but suddenly it started to pour. So we were soaked. We went into the sea and collected waste and also felt the island with our touch. And I think we tasted almost virtually all of the seafood that you can try out in Byangdo. And we also listened to the islands of the island, sounds of the island with our ears and recorded the sound. With our eyes, we saw the sunset and the women divers, Henya. Although we were in Byangdo Island, we also were able to see the landscape of Jeju Island as a whole. We also had an interview with the leader of the fishing village and with the women divers. Now, this was one impressive location, which was a shrine that each of the village had. We went there with our mentor Haeyoung and listens to the stories of the shrine and the history of the village. So from this slide until the end, Victoria is going to give the presentation. And on slide 17, I'm going to be playing the video. And there's a song, and Hyunsang will explain how we created the song, wrote the song, and the lyrics. So now Victoria is going to take over. Victoria, please start sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Um, can you guys hear me, please? Hello.
Yes.
잘 들려요.
Okay.
I can hear you well.
Like, I cannot see myself. That's why. Okay. Thank you, Youngsub, for the beautiful presentation. Hello everyone. My name is Victoria, and I'm presenting from this slide. So this communication, we all came from different background and ethnicity. We had 3 Koreans and 3 foreigners. I'm Nigerian, Kaya is American, and Hani is from Vietnam. So we had limited time. We only had 5 days. So we had to like communicate our artistic skills. We had to go back to the drawing board and what we can do for Biangdo while living in Biangdo within that short time. So surprisingly, we did not have any arguments. Like we all communicated and respected one another. And the next slide, we're sharing. The next slide is Youngsub. Youngsub shared with us his hobbies, which is plugging. Plugging means picking up plastic and other trash while jogging. So we went to a small area in the Biangdo Island and we found a lot of trash, and Annie made a trash buffet, which was fun. So we collected the trash and sorted them out so that it's easy for the community to dispose accordingly. So we put the bottles in the bottle section, we put the general waste in another bag, which made it more easier. Then Kaya told us about hobby, which is paper cutting. Or before Kaya talked about paper cutting, we found out different trash in the island. So we found trash from Vietnamese, from Vietnam, from China in the island. So seeing things that came from the outside and became the inside of the island. The island is supposed to be a beautiful place where people can come in and swim, where the aliens can do their business. But because of the trash, it's a bit of hindrance. We also found this kind of rock made out of plastic. And because of the heat of from the sun, it's melted out some plastics. So we found different trash. And I think this had to do with discipline. If we humans can be disciplined, because we eat every day, we have breakfast, lunch, dinner. So if we can be disciplined and put in the trash in the respective places, in the bins that are available, then this will reduce the trash in the world, because it's a global problem. We all share our experiences in our different countries about trash problem. Then the next slide is Kaya. Kaya taught us paper cutting. She showed us our previous work and it was beautiful, and we were all interested in learning how to paper cut. So we each cut out our experiences, what we experienced at Biangdo. We came by the boat, we had some seaweed. This is in young community, this signifies oneness, togetherness. And this was the day it rained the first day. So we had to hide under the Enoch and so many more. We're planning on presenting this final piece to Biangdo. Though it's simple and small, but it's the arts that counts, to appreciate them for their hospitality and welcoming us into their small community. And the next slide. So for 5 days and 4 nights, we tasted, we had a lot of seafood, some strange foods that we've not had before. We tasted them, we heard the sea sounds, we saw different sea creatures like Sura and some others. We felt the feeling of Biangdo. We met new people. That's where we get to know one another. and experience the island with the senses of the island. The next slide, which is the video. Youngsa, please, could you share the video? Annie's video, please. Youngsa?
네, 잠시만요.
Give me a second, please.
소리가 안 들리면 바로 말씀해
If you
주세요.
don't hear the sound, please let me know right away.
Can you guess what sound this is? It was recorded near the harbor of Piangdo, a small island 10 minutes away from Jeju by boat, a place where the skies seem united as one with the ocean, where elderly Haenyeo residents took great pride in their lifetime dedication of sea diving.
징징불멍 요물허여 우리 남편 담배값을 대여준다 술값을 물어준다 이 여자 사나 어서 가자 바삐 가자
As cheesy as it sounds, I want to tell you the story of how we all fell in love with this unique island.
소리 조금만 더 키워주셔도 좋을 것 같아요.
Can you increase the volume a little?
We would meet and what artwork we would be creating together. Our search for inspiration was greeted by the harshest weather the island could offer. 1 minute it was sunny, yet the next rain poured from the sky. Regardless, the rain brought us closer together as a group. We spent 5 days exploring the island's nature and talking to its residents, who showed us that the strong sense of communal bond here was indeed no coincidence. Due to the rough nature of the job, Haenyeos have learned to put utter trust on one another each day they dive into the sea. We also learned that the resourceful supply of sea products has already been lost due to environmental changes and consequences of human actions. Thus, protection of the sea is crucial for future generations. While sorting out the trash by the ocean, our team was surprised to find out that much like globalization, trash here comes from all over the world. Starting as individual mentees with a wide range of different interests, we have shared our experience, learned from one another, and developed as a small community. I hope that these memories of our short few days will stay with us for a long time, so that if we are all to meet once again, we can give each other the warmest welcome of, "Hey, so have you been?" Wait, hold on. This was our first demo though. Let me rewind. So that if we are all to meet once again, we can give each other the warmest welcome of, "Hey, so how you been?"
낯선 사람들과 배를 타고 떠난 여정이 하루하루 쌓이며 이별이 다가와서 둘러 저물어가 자전거를 타고 햇살
네, 감사합니다. 이제 다시
Thank you.
빅토리아가
So Victoria is going to take over again.
So we also have another video from Youngso. Maybe we'll play that one last. So let's go to the next slide. So we also did, Youngsung wrote a song about our experiences on the island. So there are four solos. The first solo, I'll translate it in English. It says, with unfamiliar people, we got on a boat and left on a journey. Day after day, our goodbyes approaches us. The end is coming too soon. And the second solo is, we ride our bikes in the sunshine, the wind, and the rain. I enjoy the quickly changing weather and hold off tomorrow for later. And this third solo, written in English, this is from the interview we had with the oldest sea diver. So we interviewed her and asked her, like, because sea diving is a very dangerous occupation. So we asked her, when like she's reborn, will she decide to do this again? And she said yes. So this third lyric says, career woman chooses island when she's born again and again. Amazon, which signifies a strong woman. Amazon in the sea is a friend of sea turtles, because underneath the sea, there are different sea creatures. So they became friends with the sea tortoise. And she's telling younger Enians, the younger sea divers, that they shouldn't be greedy, because underneath the sea, there's a level with which each Enian's breathing capability. So she doesn't want them to be greedy, because they've heard news of some sea divers that died because they were too greedy and want to keep diving deeper because they found some food. I know, because this is where they make their ends meet. This is where they make money for survival. But she's saying they shouldn't be greedy and just jump to the sea and be happy. And this is the chorus. Okay, the first two solo was sung by Youngsuk, and the second solo was sung by Victoria. Then the chorus was sung by every member of the team. This Korean line means, this small island has become a good word, a big world. Then rain and trash become good memories to me. Rain, no one really likes the rain, because rain distracts people from going out doing their various businesses, and trash is a bad feeling. But because we really enjoyed our time, our stay in Biangdo, rain and trash became good memories. Anytime we remember this, we just laugh about it. And the final solo says, this true awkward conversation, we have been slowly drawn together, but already it is time to say goodbye. We had very short time, it's just 5 days. So we started off like as strangers, awkward, like, oh, I hope I don't step on this one's toes, like, I don't know. But later we grew on each other and became really good friends. And this is Goodbye My Mentor, which signifies we all came in like as a mentee, like we're learning, but we find out each other artistic skill, like everyone is like their own boss. So we're saying to each other, to one another, goodbye, my mentor. So this lyrics was written by Youngsang. So thank you, Youngsang. And finally, because we were in isolation, so we found a poem written by Emily Dixon. She died 134 years ago. She's like a great poet, and she lived the remaining of her lives in isolation. It's a long poem, so we only took this stanza, which says, I fear me this is loneliness, the maker of the soul, its caverns and its corridors, illuminate or seal. This means that loneliness is a very scary thing. So, and it's a very scary thing, and she was afraid of being lonely, being alone. The maker of the soul, it's pierced through the soul, It's caverns. Caverns signifies a deep hollow place, a dark empty space, and its corridors, that's the pathway, illuminate or seal. So we just had to translate it to what we felt while at Biangdo. Biangdo, it's isolated, like it's a very beautiful island because it starts in the morning, and when it's 4 p.m. everywhere it's quiet because everyone is like gone. It's only a very few people that lives on the island. And in fact, our manager had to make reservation for our dinner on time before they close so that they know we're coming to have dinner. So it's a very quiet place where we're away from our own friends and families. We're just together, and that ignited our creativity, our artistic side, and we get to like forget about the noises out there and focus on beyond on what we can do, what we can learn from it. And it was really a beautiful experience. Young-sam, please could you play the final video? This final video was filmed by Young-sam. Thank you. Young-sam?
마지막 영상은 저희가 이 행사
The final video will be played after this presentation by us. Because we have run over time, we will see the video after this presentation. Thank you for the presentation. So enter a smaller place in order to understand who you are and meet new friends, and also get inspiration to have a new perspective on the world. It was a very moving presentation. So we are behind time, so I asked all the mentors to make it very short. I know you have a lot of things to say, but please make it short.
안 들려요. 마이크 켜주세요.
I think you're on mute. Hale? Well, I think Team Biangdo makes an approach to see the shadow and the shade and the light at the same time. In the world, we had beauty and love that connects us, but we also have greed and pollution and irresponsibility. So we are also connected by these elements, was what I could learn from Biangdo team's presentation. And I could feel your innocent enthusiasm that led you to interview the Henyos and the residents of the village to understand their lives. And this was reflected in your songs. So I really enjoyed the great song. Thank you. Great job. I felt the same with Haeyoung. I could really feel your innocent thoughts and attitudes reflected in this song. And what kind of process you went through in the island was something I could think about while listening to the song. Great work, everyone.
Hi, I really also just wow, I was very impressed with this song that you guys created together, just to see all your different skills come together, your talents, and just capture the ephemeral nature of our existence, how it's so temporary this time, but you captured the beauty and the connections you guys brought, shared with one another, and just even the sense of like, okay, we're partying, you captured that, you know, just savoring those moments. Yeah, I thank you very much. I really enjoyed.
Okay, yeah, last talk. But for me, Biangdo, it was very special because it was my first place meeting you guys there, and you know, first starting is always like there's no preparations. But when I actually left, I got this feeling. You can hear me, right? I have yeah, okay. I got this feeling that okay, the group will go on, and I'm not now. What came out, really, I'm really impressed, really astonished. like how with so much emotion and energy you finalize this kind of video. It's really impressive. Good work. Thanks a lot. I have another link for you. This is actually for Victoria and Kaya, both of them. It's a kind of reference to paper cutting and African culture. Okay, so it was really good. I also fell in love with Yango, but here we have to stop. Thank you. Great job.
네, 멘토님들 피드백 잘 들었습니다. 이렇게 네
Thank
팀의
you, mentors, for the great feedback. So we have now listened to all four presentations. I was really touched and could feel your efforts, endeavors, and creativity during all this time. It's really surprising and amazing how you could create these outputs within that short period of time in such an isolated environment.
정말 놀랍게 생각하고
Great work, everyone. Congratulations.
의도적으로 제한된 환경이었던 것도 있고
So it was intentionally limited, this environment. And also we had COVID-19 that also naturally isolated us, but you collaborated with your teammates and came up with these great creations. And I think you will never be able to forget these memories, us as well. So we will now listen to some of the mentees. You have a lot of things to say, I'm sure, but we don't have a lot of time, so please make them short. Your impressions, your comments, anything to share with your teammates, anything is okay. Now is the time to open up. Please raise your hand if you want to go first.
저부터 그럼 말하겠습니다.
아, 네네, 하시죠.
Let me be the first.
이번 UCLG 활동을 통해서
Through this program, I really gave much thought about what isolation truly is. We didn't have good reception and we needed to stay with unfamiliar people in the island. And it was a great opportunity to get inspiration in this regard. And there was the teamwork that supported this inspiration and also the support from the mentors, the managers and directors. Thank you all for your input. It was a great experience. And thank you for creating this environment. I would like to thank JFAC, JDC, and UCLG for this great experience. Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
지금입니다,
So
여러분.
the time is, you only have now to speak up.
아, 네, 유현상님.
현상?
안녕하세요. 저는 비양도 팀
Good
유현.
afternoon. I am Hyun-sang Yu from Team Byangdo. I would like to thank Ms. Hee-jung, our mentors, managers, directors, and all the officials from the foundation. Thank you so much for this great opportunity and experience. I was able to create a lot of good memories and engage in creative growth. Team Byangdo, through post-production, are going to get together to work further on our songs. So if we get our outcome, we will contact the foundation. Thank you. Thank you. I really fell in love with the song. I still remember the lyrics. If you can share the audio file, I'm going to listen to it over and over. We will listen to one final person. If there's nobody, well, Chun-hyuk raised his hand. Well, at the end of my presentation, I extended my gratitude to everyone, but there was one person I missed. Our team during post-production spent a lot of time, I think. And one of the person who made the most efforts and had the hardest time is myself. So I would like to thank myself before closing. Great job. The presenters, I forgot to thank them for your work. To be the presenter of a collaboration is not easy, and publicly speaking is not easy as well. So great job all the people engaged in post-production and presentation. So we have now listened to all the presentations and the impressions. It was 6 months ago that we started to prepare for this event. We didn't know who you are. We did not know what kind of people will join us. And we were imagining how this will become. And we started to think of the keywords and eventually the keyword isolation. And that connected us to the keyword island because you know how islands isolate us. But from the perspective of the ocean, not the island, because ocean is one. Oceans are something that connect us all around the world. And when you look at creative work, it's all about a reflection and communication. This was something we could learn from this program. Despite COVID-19 that blocked us from meeting offline altogether, but I think it was an in-depth meeting that was made possible by the pandemic. And I think it was also a better experience for us to reflect into ourselves. Thank you all team members for your great work, the managers and directors for your consideration, cooperation, and communication with each other, which was really inspiring. Thank you once again. Finally, we are going to take a short time to listen to the impression from the mentors. I know you have a lot to share. And the mentors, while they were going around the team, they were only able to see parts of the process that the team have gone through. So their experience must have been very different depending on what day they visited the team. So I think it was also very special for them to join this program. So in a different order this time, starting from the last, starting with Professor Burnt, your impression?
I will start first. Thank you. Yeah, well, all, the whole project I think was a really good experience. Turned out very well. I feel a little bit like a graduation now, like a very good graduation. Everybody is like finishing, but the work starts, you know, afterward. But in a positive sense, really, I'm really pleased. And when I see the results which were coming out, and especially the good energy, like inside the project during the people, was very impressive for me and was a good thing. So I hope you keep it in mind. You're always welcome to meet again in Korea, wherever. Yeah, if you want to contact for every kind of reason for your work or whatever, yeah, I'm always open for that. Enjoy your experience and go ahead with interesting projects. Thank you, all of you, especially also the organization. You did a very good job. It was a really tough job, and I was happy to be mentor and not organizer because there was so much hard work behind it, and you don't see it. So for the mentor, it's much more easier. Like it's very direct one-to-one. Thank you, thank everybody who's participated in this kind of project. Bye bye.
감사합니다. 네,
Thank you. I really envy the mentors. I should have been a mentor myself. Moving on to Uni.
Yes. So I'm kind of in transit right now. So I hope you can hear me.
유니 멘토님 먼저 한 말씀 해주시겠어요? 네, 전체적으로 종합 의견 주세요.
지금 들리세요?
Uni, can you hear me?
Okay. 지금 I'm in transit, so sorry. Hello? Okay. No, I was very impressed with all the different projects, how they came together, especially the process. I can see how each team really enjoyed and struggled as well, but also really enjoyed the process. And still quite impressed with all the different end results of each team, and to see the diversity again and all the talents come together, quite unique. As for myself, I'm quite also thankful for the opportunity to participate as a mentor. It was a really good experience for myself, and learning experience, and also just again a unique experience in a place I've also lived for a long period of time. But this experience showed me a different perspective. And again, I think this was a very many people who were involved behind the scenes, as well as present, the managers really made this smooth, the project very smooth and easy for the mentors and also for the mentees. A big thanks to everyone involved to make this experience under COVID times smooth. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you. Moving on to Chino. Can you hear me? Yes. First, it was a great opportunity to get to know you. Through this program, one of the things that came up most to me was that the best output comes to you when you are really able to express yourself. I gained a lot of artistic inspiration from you, and I hope we can meet again as artistic colleagues in the future. And I will always cherish the memories that we made together, and hopefully we will see you again. Thank you. Thank you. And lastly, the one mentor who's in Jeju, Haeyoung. Frankly speaking, I do not have a lot of interest in art. I do have interest in people though. So getting to see the changes that you've experienced and your relationship was something of great interest to me, and it was very exciting to see this. And your presentations must be satisfactory to some of you, but rather not to others. So the important thing is that you all learned something from the process altogether. And under the circumstances, having COVID-19, I believe this opportunity was a chance to communicate with one another, which was very special for me and yourselves. So I believe this will be a seed for you to bloom going forward. Thank all the organizers too. I will make it. Thank you. Is it my turn?
네, 감사합니다. 벌써
Thank you. So it's now time to wrap up.
이런 행사가 때로는 되게 지루하고 그러기도 하는데
These kind of events can be sometimes boring, but your presentations and your participation brightened the event up. Thank you once again for participating despite your busy schedules. I can see the apartments and the city at the background, which is quite strange. Before closing, we're going to see an extra video created by our mentees and now officially announce the closing of the final presentation of 2021 UCLG GYCR. Thanks to all of you, we gained some assurance on the direction that we were thinking about, and we saw the beauty in this program, which is a personal gratitude to all of you.
주최자 입장에서
As one of the organizers,
준비를 철저하게 하지 못했던 것도 있었고
there were regrets of the things that we couldn't prepare, and there were some moments where we were doubting whether you could have a great experience with our preparation, but I saw you people enjoying your time to the maximum and gaining inspiration. So I'm so thankful for your participation, and it's really unfortunate that we need to say goodbye now. But I think with some regret in our minds, we can miss each other more, and we will make sure to prepare for a better program next year. And I ask for your continued support and interest. Thank you. And
in 2 words, the people and the sea. The people and the sea.
Hey, so how have you been?
낯선 사람들과 배를 타고 떠난 여정이 하루하루 쌓이며 이별이 다가와 서둘러 저물어가 자전거를 타고 햇살과 바람 도는 길을 맞아 변덕스런 내시도 나는 즐거워서 내일을 미룬다. Korea woman chooses silence when she's born again and again. Amazon in the seas of fantasy daughter. Hey girls, don't be so greedy. Yeah, just jump to the sea. Be happy. 작은 섬은 이제 커다란 세상. Rain and trash become good memories to me. 서툰 대화들이 서서히 틈을 당겨왔어. 하지만 벌써 작별 인사 나눠야 해. Goodbye 마이는 또 Korea woman chooses silence when she's born again and again. Amazon in the seas of fantasy daughter. Hey girls, don't be so greedy. Yeah, just jump to the sea. Be happy. 작은 섬은 이제 커다란 세상. Rain and trash become good memories to me. 작은 섬은 이제 커다란 세상. Rain and trash become good memories to me. 작은 섬은 이제 커다란 세상. Rain and trash become good memories to me. 작은 섬은 이제 커다란 세상. Rain and trash become good memories to me.
Hi. My favorite thing is people in Myanmar.